You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Sarah Gulseth.
I'm Andy Bates.
Thanks to our underwriter, Concordia University, Wisconsin, for your support of The Coffee Hour. You can find out more about Concordia University, Wisconsin at cuw.edu.
Live uncommon.
So we've had the chance over several episodes to talk with some writers, some authors, word creators, creatives with words, about their presentations for the Here I Write conference that was supposed to be put on by Katie Schuermann this summer, but because of global pandemic, of course, that couldn't happen. But it's been such a joy to be able to talk to all of these experts on this topic that everyone, I think, has a little bit to benefit from. And today we have joining us Mary J. Moerbe, who is a LCMS deaconess and writer, homeschool mom, blogger, runs lutheranhomeschool.com and maryjmoerbe.com, and we'll talk about those in just a minute, with lots of resources for homeschoolers and writers. Thank you so much, Mary, for joining us on the Coffee Hour today.
Thank you for having me.
So I mentioned those two websites and all of these things that you do. Tell us a little bit about these resources that you put out, and a little bit about what you do to put together these resources.
Well, my website, maryjmoerbe.com, started shortly after I had twins. I knew that a lot of my hobbies were going to be on hold, but I had this real desire to stay connected. So I started a website to encourage Lutherans to write, because I frankly no longer expected to have time to write myself. And as I found resources that people would just mention in passing, I thought it would be really great if I could just list some of these resources and help raise awareness of such great things that Lutherans are doing right now that really help writers, homeschoolers, really help everyone. So it's been a great source of joy for me.
Absolutely. So your presentation for the Here I Write conference is all about networking readers and writers, which is very appropriate with these resources that you've been able to put together. Why is community and networking important for anybody, but especially for creatives and writers?
So there are lots of different ways to think about community. As a Lutheran, one of my favorite ways to think about it is in terms of vocation. God has given us neighbors or near ones, and in creation, we're all connected by God. He made all of us. He gives all of us great gifts, and He gives us a variety of talents so we can better share His gifts with one another. It is a great and exciting thing to share God's gifts with one another. It's something we are made to do, which is one reason why it wasn't good for Adam to be alone in paradise, and it certainly isn't a good idea for us to be alone long term either. I think it's very helpful to think about what's internal and what's external. God designed us to engage in external interactions and to not just get lost in our internal realities. He made us to interact with our neighbors and creation. And writing is one thing we do to bring what's internal to make it external, so that we can communicate with others, so that we can share and reason through things with others.
So what are some ways then to find that connection, that community, whether it's online or in person?
The first place to look for communities are those you're tied to through your vocations. Family members can be supportive, friends, coworkers, congregation members. And after you've sort of seen who can help you, who's interested in that area of your life, you can talk with your librarians. You can look for local writing clubs. You can Google. A lot of states and regions have writing conferences and various clubs. You can choose between Christian and secular, broad categories, or really specific ones like Christian's literature or hymnody. If you're looking for community more specifically for Lutheran writing support, where you might be looking for freelance editors, illustrators, composers, if you write hymnody, graphic designers, there are all of these vocations that really fit together. And it is very important to be able to find a cohesion to your community. So in fact, I've started gathering names just as a free online list. If you know of any Lutheran freelancers who might like to be included, I'm very happy to do that. I also have a list of living Lutheran authors on my website, maryjmoerbe.com, that is open to fiction and nonfiction writers, both because sometimes I just want to read a book from a similar worldview. And it's really nice as a reader to find that there are Lutherans who are writing mysteries, even action thrillers, as well as, I don't know, cookbooks. My list has all sorts of genres. And as an author, it's such a comfort to me that there are other Lutherans in the same position as me, trying to hone my skills, trying to spread word about my projects. So it's sort of a two-way blessing, I hope, that list of living Lutheran authors. Facebook also has a lot of Lutheran writing groups if you're on Facebook.
You can find anything on Facebook these days. How does community and these groups and such, how do they help creatives and authors hone ideas and share resources?
So I think of it sort of in three ways. First, there's the community of support who will love you no matter what you write, no matter what you do, no matter if you have gross typos, who just will love you, right? And then there's those who will help you to make your words beautiful or clear, or to help you see if you've missed a step. That the second and third pair of eyes who can just bring clarity. Sometimes artists know their work almost too well because they still have all of this internal insight, and that you need external balance to see what's actually made it onto the page. Third, the world is just very evocative. God gives us thoughts and ideas and inspiration all over the place. And if you've tucked yourself away so that you're only relying on what's inside you, that's actually far more limited than this creation, these gifts of God that just keep on giving.
So how have you found support from other creatives in honing your ideas and maybe sharing those ideas with one another? How have you found that support in that community of creatives?
Well, I am a little bit of a jack of all trades. I am a homeschooling mother, and so I am a bit of a hobbyist for my writing right now. It's hit or miss how much I get to write on a given day. But let's see, this last fall, the LCMS put it on a hymn writing conference, and it was tremendous. And they brought in established hymn writers and music professors and eloquent catechists to come in to talk about the clarity of words and beauty and to compare things. You really can take lessons and become a better writer. And when you have it in a community, then you can also admit your own tendencies, and they can help you to see what will balance and sort of broaden what you can do, as well as tighten up. We all need editors desperately.
Yes, a good editor is a wonderful thing to have. What are some challenges with finding community? Have you run into your own challenges?
I think that the two biggest challenges are finding first readers and reviewers. It's really best if people can give you feedback on a book before you send it to a publisher. Before you get to the editor stage, it's really helpful to just have someone say, I didn't quite get where you were going with a character, or why didn't you bring up this aspect in a Bible study? And it's difficult. The people who love you don't want to tell you that you're missing things. They know you've put hours into it. And reviewers are so important because they are who best encourage others to read your works. Writers can't just sell their own books. We need readers who will help us with that.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any final thoughts or encouragements for readers and writers when it comes to networking and finding these resources for their own work?
I do. I encourage you to think about the body of Christ. The body of Christ is a tremendous thing, linking us to everyone and everything we need. And through it, we are loved, forgiven, and in it, we work together. We really are free to thank God and to thank one another and to just do our best.
Share with us again where we can find all of your writing and resources.
MaryJMoerbe.com.
And that's Moerbe.
Correct. Or just Google Living Lutheran Authors and you'll find my website.
Perfect. Living Lutheran Authors. Mary J. Moerbe, LCMS deaconess and writer, homeschool mom, blogger, and creator of all things resources. Thanks so much for joining us on the Coffee Hour today.
Thank you so much.
You're listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Sarah Gulseth.
I'm Andy Bates.